I started on the wrong.
So we're live now. Did it work?
Now we're live. What do you mean
Oh boy, what is going on, LBHT crew? We had a little technical difficulty.
We didn't have any technical difficulty. I know what you're talking about. I know what you mean.
Look, it is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Hope your week is going well, but if not, hopefully it gets better starting right now. We are streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. So wherever you're watching this, make sure you hit that like button, give us a thumbs up, follow, all that good stuff. If you're listening to the audio podcast, which you can find anywhere you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple, all those places, make sure you give us a 5-star review and share it with your friends and loved ones. Okay. Yes, we started a little late. I know.
You know what's hilarious about that? Tough Puppy said he actually made it on time. What's so tough?
Salute to Tough Puppy. Salute to Tough Puppy. All right. I didn't even do my audio check. Let me check your sound settings.
I already checked it. Sure. Okay. Because I'm a professional.
Oh, good for you. All right. I turned mine up a
little. It is good for me. Thank you.
Congrats. Congratulations. All right. All right. We got Big Reg in the house. What's good, Big Reg? Salute to you. Salute to you. All right. We got Hendo from the Rogue Pod. What's going on? Shout out to you. All right. He dropped a dope video earlier today on, look, the people hating on Lamar Jackson. Look, the haters they're gonna stay there. All right. They won't keep hating because he ain't going anywhere. We got I should start at the top because Bazel's been dethroned today by Vintage Nick. Says first, what's going on, Vintage Nick? Salute to you. And Bazel was second.
Bazel don't even know. Like once you identify yourself as the top, you got to keep your head on a swivel. He didn't even know who Vintage Nick was.
He says, "Is that OBJ to the Panthers?" Are you talking about the thumbnail? That thumbnail is that's Deontay Johnson in the thumbnail. It's a clean photo. It's a clean photo. But you never know. OBJ could end up with the Panthers. He's going to end up somewhere.
No, he said he's not having fun anymore.
He said he's not having fun.
What you mean? What's wrong with OBJ? You want him back?
Would you rather him or TMJ?
That's not what I asked you. I said, do you want him back? Don't ask me what's wrong with OBJ. You don't want him back.
I'm fine with him. I'm fine with him back. As long, but we still need more. He can't be.
Oh, you're fine with him back on the bench?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You wouldn't want him as a bench player?
And the answer is neither. I would rather have 3 wide receivers on the roster than OBJ or Terrace Marshall.
He can provide some value. I don't mind him coming back, but no, not as a main
I don't
target.
need anybody.
He should be a main target for you.
I don't need anybody telling Bryce Young to run and make a play.
Bah humbug over there, B. Bah humbug. All right. Just
Bryce, why don't
going
you do
on?
Something? No.
Save us.
Incredible veteran leadership in the moment.
What's going on, Just Allo? Lunch break.
That's what you wanted to hear from a Super Bowl champion.
He said, how's everyone doing? Hope all is well. Hey, hope everything's well with you, my friend. Who else we got in here? Our guy Dre, Mr. Galloway, says, good evening, everyone. Salute to you,
Dre?
Mr. Galloway. Make sure you subscribe over there as well. All right. Shout out Tough Puppy. Osmond's in the house, says hello to Jose, Brodny, and everyone in the chat. Salute to you, Osmond. Our guy P Brown III, aka P Brownie. Salute to you. Thanks for coming through. DDSQ, salute to you. Says what's good. Love what y'all doing. Salute to you. Salute to you. All right. We got Ravens Talk with Yolanda B. Says good evening, LBHT family. Salute, Yolanda.
And I'm going to send you that link before the start of the OT on Twitter.
Okay. Yeah. Slim Smith, what's going on? Shout out to you. All right, let's go a little quick here. Tracy. What is going on? Shout out to Tracy.
What's up,
Salute
Tracy?
to you. Thanks for coming through. Always glad to see you. Luke K's in the house. Says, what's up, everyone? What's up with you, Luke? We got D Weezy. D Weezy. Shout out to D Weezy. He was up here in Baltimore a couple of weekends ago when we did the Ravens stadium tour. All right. Hung out with us. We got something to eat afterwards. Always good seeing you. We got Jay the Six in the house. Says, howdy, LBHT Buckaroos. Howdy, howdy. What's going on? And Kit Cam says, hola, Jose. And the mucho gusto Brodny is on the way. I can see it. Oh, there it is. Mucho gusto Brodny. All right. Okay. Got all the shout outs out the way. All right. Terry, what's going on, Terry? Says peace. Peace to you, Terry. All right. Okay. We got everything. We got all the shout outs. We got a lot to talk about. We are 1 week and 1 day away from the draft.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We will be covering the draft. It will be on Coach's channel and this channel. Coach is going to be hosting it, but I'll be able to see what you guys put in the chat. So you can either go over there to Sip to Tally Films, or you can stay right here. We're going to be simulcasting or multi-streaming, whatever you want to call it. All right, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be the whole Ravens roundup, plus Carrie and Mike from Deep Cover Podcast. All right, so make sure you check us out. It was a lot of fun last year, and it's going to be the same this year. All right.
Yes.
Okay. We got to talk about the draft. We got to talk about a possible big move that the Ravens could be making because they're interested again, ladies and gentlemen. You know what that means. We're talking about how the Panthers can win the NFC South path to victory, and we're going to go over that. All right, we're going to talk about the NBA playoffs. It has begun. We're going to talk about the NBA draft. We're going to talk about a whole lot of things. But first, we like to start every show with a Black History fact, and B and Okole have a Black History fact for you.
Welcome to this week's Black History Fact. Remarkable achievements and significant challenges marked Jackie Robinson's life. Born on January 31st, 1919, in Cairo, Georgia, Robinson excelled in sports, displaying his athletic prowess early on. He attended UCLA, where he was the first student to letter in 4 varsity sports: baseball, basketball, football, and track. His talent was undeniable, but so were the racial barriers he encountered. After serving in the military during World War II, Robinson faced segregation in civilian life, a reality that would soon change. In 1947, Robinson signed with the Brooklyn Dodgers, breaking the color barrier in Major League Baseball's modern era. This historic moment not only changed the face of baseball, but also sparked a new era in civil rights. Robinson's entry into the MLB was met with hostility, racial slurs, and threats, but he persevered with dignity and skill. His impact went beyond sports. Robinson's success on the field challenged stereotypes and paved the way for desegregation in professional sports. He won the inaugural Rookie of the Year award and had an impressive career, earning 6 All-Star selections and helping the Dodgers win the World Series in 1955. Off the field, Robinson was a vocal advocate for civil rights. He used his platform to fight against segregation and discrimination, becoming a prominent figure in the struggle for racial equality. After retiring from baseball in 1956, Robinson continued his activism, working to promote equal employment opportunities and social justice. Robinson was posthumously inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1962, solidifying his place as a trailblazer and inspiration for future generations. His life and achievements serve as a reminder of the power of perseverance and the importance of standing up against injustice.
All right. Salute to Jackie Robinson. Now my mic is really up. It wasn't up before. Now it's up.
Yeah, it was Jackie Robinson Day a few days ago in Major League Baseball, where every player in the league wears the number 42 to honor Jackie Robinson. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking no baseball. But as you see in the chat,
salute, Mr. Galloway. Thank
breaking
you.
news.
Absolutely
Thank
amazing
you,
content. Yes,
Appreciate
breaking news.
you,
I saw that. Go ahead and break it, B.
J.K. Dobbins, former Baltimore Ravens running back, is planning to sign a 1-year deal with the LA Chargers to once again ensure that Gus Edwards never breaks 1,000 yards. Pretty diabolical from J.K., but I respect it. Wishing the best to J.K. Dobbins. I think he, a very, very, very talented guy who just had a kind of a run of bad luck in Baltimore. Hopefully he can stay healthy and show everybody what he can really do.
Yeah. Facts. I agree. And if he does stay healthy, that's a weapon for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And Herbert's going to need it because they got the three-headed monster. They got Dobbins, they got Gus, and they got Herbert.
That's right. Listen, Herbert can run. All right,
he can run, and he's going to run.
He can scoot.
He can scoot.
All right. So I don't know why you say it like that. And he got that really fast guy who can't catch, but I mean he can stretch that defense though.
Hey, let me ask the chat this, all right? Because there's certain coded words depending on who we're talking about. Can Josh Allen run, or can he scoot? I'm just curious. I've never heard anybody say that about Josh Allen. I think he gets passed over on that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Nobody's saying Herbert can run. They'll say he can scoot. He can scat. Look, he can scat. He can scoot. See, I'm just saying. What's going on, Tanja? Says, what's up, Flock? What's going on with you? MDT Sports in the house. Yes. LA Ravens. Yeah. That's what it's turned into.
They say that, but isn't he only the second guy to sign there, or do they sign somebody else?
Well, Greg Roman.
I mean, he's not a Raven.
Dobbins. That's Edwards.
Greg Roman's not a Raven. He's a Harbaugh lackey.
Facts. He was with Jim Harbaugh first. So
yeah.
Brent Lauren, what's going on? Salute to you. All right. All right. So where do we want to start?
I guess we're going to start with some NFL talk, yeah?
Yeah. All right.
The Ravens allegedly being interested once again. I don't know how they have the energy. I don't know how EDC can keep on doing it. But he keeps on doing it every single day. Every day there's a new player that could do wonders for this Ravens offense that he's interested in and definitely will not acquire.
So the rumor is Brandon Aiyuk. I mean, look, we'll break it down in a second. But the rumor out there is Brandon Aiyuk wants to trade. He wants out of San Francisco, which there's definitely some truth to that.
Oh, thank you, Noah and Jay. Hayden Hurst as well with the Chargers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. But there's definitely some truth to that, right? He wants his money. It doesn't look like San Francisco wants to pay him. So it seems like a departure from San Francisco is inevitable. Mm-hmm. So the rumor is the Ravens, the Steelers, and a mystery team are all interested in his services. Now, the Ravens were previously linked to Deebo Samuel, okay? And EDC shot that down, okay? Although there's still talks that maybe they're trying to get him after the June 1st period, where it would be more economically viable for the 49ers. But if they're moving on from Aiyuk, they're keeping Samuel, and I think they like Samuel more than Aiyuk, right? Now, Stephon Diggs just got traded for a 2025 second-round pick. They missed out on that. What's going on, Coach? Coach sent you. Salute. So they missed out on that. They're picking too low to get like a game changer. Okay, we can get somebody that
too low who people think will be a game changer.
Yes.
Going in. I mean,
yeah, somebody you're getting an unknown.
Yeah.
Now there's another opportunity for the Ravens to get a top tier wide receiver, a number one wide receiver, and the fact that they're not saying that they're leading or they're aggressively trying to get them. I don't like the sound of that.
Well, they are saying someone is aggressively trying to get him, and Terry pointed it out right here. Aiyuk going to Pitt most likely. They say that they have been aggressive. The exact report was that Pittsburgh is aggressively pursuing Brandon Aiyuk, and that the Ravens showed some interest.
Yeah. So there you go. And then the funny thing is, I want to hear what the other side of the flock is going to say about this, because when it was Stephon Diggs, it was, well, we don't like Diggs. He's not a fit here, right? I want somebody like Aiyuk. I want somebody to get those 50-50 balls, right? A big body wide receiver. Okay, well, Aiyuk is there. He's there for the taking. He hasn't been traded yet. Be more aggressive than your rival. Okay? No. So what happens when the Steelers get him? Are we going to be sitting there saying,
well, no. So what happens when the Steelers get him is it reinforces for DaCosta and Harbaugh that they need to draft Kool-Aid McKinstry in round 1, which is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't happened yet. Nothing's happened yet. I know Aiyuk's agent said this is all false. Okay, all fake news. We'll find out soon enough. I feel like at this point he'll be traded on draft day, right? So it's just a matter of what are the willing to give up for him. Now, B, what would you give up for him? Let me start there. Chat, what would you give up for Brandon Aiyuk?
For Brandon Aiyuk, I think it's fair to give up a late first and maybe some later picks as well. Maybe 1 or 2 day 3 picks. I wouldn't give up too much more than that. I think he can play. I don't think that he's. I think a lot of people think he's better than Debo because Debo was there and Debo's taking the attention, and George Kittle's getting a lot of attention, and Christian McCaffrey's getting a lot of attention. And that's not to say that Aiyuk can't play. He certainly can, but he hasn't proven to be a number one receiver, right? And he's, I think 27, 28 this season. I think that you go with a late first plus a day 3 pick, and I'd be fine with paying him and just letting him, go out there and try to prove he's that number one guy.
Well, it just so happens, B, that we have a late first round pick.
What?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's true.
That's crazy.
Now, I can see the Steelers not even giving up their first round pick for Aiyuk. They're going to trade like a second round pick and some future pick, and that's going to get the deal done. And the Ravens are going to be like, "Oh, well, we couldn't beat that. We can't give up a first round pick. He's not worth that." Yes, he is. You're not going to, most likely, you're not going to draft a guy at 30 that's better than Brandon Aiyuk if you went wide receiver.
Probably
really,
not.
Want anything. Yeah.
Probably not.
So we need to be offering that first round pick, and if it takes a little bit more, then give him a little bit more. EDC doesn't draft well, right? So we don't need to hold on to these picks. Like, at best you could say he's okay, at best, but these picks are very underwhelming overall.
Yeah,
and there went B. B's out of there. Oh, he's back.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you're out. Okay, you blanked out for a minute. Anywho, let's see what we got here. Oh man, chat is really going off here. We're not paying over receivers $27 million. We got a better chance at Cortland Sutton. That's what Tanta said. Well, that's the problem, right? Like, we take on this mentality of the Ravens and how cheap they are. You have to fight against that. Okay, like you're right. You're speaking something that's fact, Chanja, but you shouldn't accept that.
Yeah. Coach is saying first, nope, can't do it. Are you saying can't do it because the Ravens need to draft an offensive lineman with their first round pick, or are you saying he's not worth a first round pick, period?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we need to get offensive linemen for sure. If he's saying, yeah, we gotta get it there because we didn't do it in free agency, I understand. And I will have to agree with Coach, right? But if you're just saying he's just not worth a first round pick, he is over here. He said, give it to 49ers, Klay Thompson.
I'm gonna leave Clay alone, man.
Yeah, no, he's saying we need O linemen.
Yeah,
Coach. Yeah, you're right.
Absolutely. But I mean, honestly, look, at this point, if you can get a guy who looks like a high-end wide receiver, and look, Brandon, I just say he hasn't proven to be a number one, but he's better than any wide receiver the Ravens have had in the last 7 years. I think you have to do it because like they're not going to do it otherwise. And then you just have to go out and you're going to have to plug those O-line holes after June 1st cuts, and you're just going to have to make it work and hope that those guys that they've drafted and developed are ready to go. Because you can mitigate a bad offensive line with better skill position players. We've seen that already.
To me, man, this is tough. I kind of lean towards Coach only because, man, I don't believe in the guys that we have on team right now. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, maybe after June 1st we'll get some solid guys. Maybe if we don't draft a guy in the first round, I mean, EDC doesn't hit in the second round, right? Even when he has the pick.
Well, to be fair, he doesn't use them. So
no, he doesn't. He doesn't. But
I'll say this to you though: sticking at 30 and taking an O lineman means you're getting the 8th, 9th, 10th best O line prospect.
Yes, but
in this draft.
I trust Coach and Chris's evaluation of the O line class. There are a lot of O linemen in this class. I mean, but I don't think we're going to get. We're not going to get a great necessarily. I mean, we could, but I mean, I think we can get a solid guy there, and we need that. We need somebody that can be a solid starter. Falele can't be out there, man. Voorhees can't be out there. I don't care what you guys feel about Voorhees. We better not be trotting him out there. If he wins the job, we are thin. Okay. What's up, E? E says Ravens wide receiver core 73 rating on Madden. Daniel says we don't make the trade and there's a huge run on O-line in the 20s. Yeah.
And there's going to be a huge run on O-line because that's what happens when there is a deep class. People like to think leading up to the draft, hey, the draft is really deep in O-line, really deep in wide receiver, really deep in edge or whatever. And I'll be able to get one in the 3rd round. No, you won't. They go earlier. The last time the Ravens used that logic, they got Devin Duvernay in the 3rd round, the 18th wide receiver off the board. It's not that there's going to be top guys on day 2 and 3. Is that more people are going to take that position in round 1 than otherwise would.
I'm kind of leaning back towards your way, right? Get the guy that can play at the end of the day, right? They're gonna have to work their magic for O-line, make some trades where they can make trades, pick up, pray to the football gods that somebody gets cut that can be serviceable for us, and that they hit on some later picks, or that some guys get better like Ben Cleveland. I mean, that's just kind of where the situation they put themselves in. But get a short thing. Because if we pass up on Aiyuk and then, well, I mean, look, if we pass up on Aiyuk and we don't fix the O-line, I mean,
well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you don't trade for him and then you draft, let's say, Guyton or Amarius Mims, and they're not ready to go, then what?
Yeah.
Then you don't have the receiver, and Lamar's still getting hurt.
Another reason why we should have traded for Stephon Diggs. We didn't even have to give up a pick this year.
Right.
Okay, EDC cooking. We're gonna find out. All right, we're gonna find out what. Okay, we're gonna find out what they do in next week's draft. Before the draft comes out, we're going to be putting out a quick little video. It's going to be a quick mock draft, not even a full 7 rounds, because PFF, they don't like to give away anything for free. But we're doing a 3-round mock draft. That video is in production. It's going to be a quick video. We're actually going to be recording live
in production, like we're a real setup over here. I like that.
That's right. That's right. We are going to be recording live tonight on the Overtime Show the mock draft for the Panthers. Okay, the Carolina Panthers. So if you want to see how our recording process goes down, you can see it live on the Overtime Show, which you can find on our Patreon at patreon.com/LBHT Show. Once we're done recording that part, we're gonna be talking some fancy football. We're gonna be talking some other stuff. It's gonna be a lot of fun. All right. So make sure you sign up. Alex says, I always agree with Coach. It's all random. That's why I don't think it's great to invest in a ton in trading up. Yeah, that's why I don't agree in trading back and getting more picks. It's all random, and our GM does not hit.
Well, the only positive with trading down is like you just get more tickets, right?
Yeah,
and you're going to get lucky at some point, right? I mean, look, they got lucky with Geno Stone.
Mm-hmm.
It ended up being a great pick. That was a 7th-round pick. You don't expect that kind of production out of that guy. But yeah, I mean, when you're sitting there at the end of the first, it's too much to trade up into the range where you can get an elite prospect, and trading up into the middle of the round, you're looking at guys, same caliber of guy that you can get at 30. So, I mean, for me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense unless you see one of those really top tier players slide, but they typically don't.
All right. 83 people in here. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. We are less than 100 away from 2,000 subscribers. Help us get there. NDT Sports says, I don't like EDC either, but I don't want Stephon Diggs at all. Now, there's no downside to getting Stephon Diggs here. There's none. He's better than all the wide receivers on our team. I don't care how you feel about Zay Flowers. Me and B think Zay Flowers could be a star, but he ain't Stephon Diggs today. We're trying to win today. All right. This year, he instantly upgrades that wide receiver core. I don't care how you feel about his attitude. And his attitude is just that whole thing is just overblown. All right. He's never caused a problem on his teams. Never. All right. So what if he blows up? If he doesn't get the ball, he has a little attitude, or he tweets some cryptic message on Twitter or Instagram or whatever. So what? Are they adults? Right? Like you never had a coworker that you don't like, or that irritates you. You still get your job done. I don't care about that. Yeah, get me the talent. I don't care about your attitude. If the first thing they say about you is you're a nice guy, I don't want you.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter how many times the media runs that he's a diva, he's a headache narrative. People always go for it. They went for it with Des Bryant, they went for it with Odell, going for it with Stephon Diggs. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, like I said, even if it's true, Terrell Owens didn't get along with teammates a lot. Don't care. One of the greatest wide receivers of all time.
Yeah. Randy Moss
played like it everywhere he went.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's a diva? John Harbaugh. Feed that bird in your background.
That's not in my background.
Yes. That's coming from you. I can hear it. I think it's outside your window. Anyway, Tanja says Panthers. What about the Panthers? What's up, Danny? Danny says 85 people in the chat. Hit the like and subscribe button, kings and queens. Salute to you, Danny. Danny was also at the Ravens Stadium. All right. She stood us up later on. I was waiting for a phone call. She said, hey, let's turn up tonight. I was like, all right. She's like, psych, I'm going to bed. My friend Antonio, what's going on, Antonio? He says, happy hump day, guys. Hope all is well. We need to trade picks for production. Oh, I like that. Is there an O lineman that we could trade for with that first round pick?
Probably not.
That's a Coach and Chris question.
I mean, teams aren't anxious to get rid of good O linemen.
I know.
It's difficult to build the O-line as it is.
I mean, if they're coming up to, we kind of, it's kind of past, but like if there's guys that they don't really plan on paying, but are good, it's rare, but we can do it. Ozzy has done it, right? But can ADC do that? I don't know. But all right, on to some Panthers.
Absolutely, that's what the people are here for. Talking about how the Carolina Panthers can compete for the NFC South right now today. And the answer really is to just keep on doing what they're doing at this point. They went really hard on the O-line at the beginning of free agency, bringing in Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis, and they even brought in some depth as well. They went and they got Deontay Johnson in a trade. Desperately needed to upgrade their wide receiver core, and they did that already. Now, they need Canales to be the real deal and Bryce Young to be the real deal. I think that they've done enough on defense to really kind of, they're not going to be a great defense, but they're going to be good enough that if they can start putting some points on the board, they can win. No, look, I know it's going to sound bold, but they can win the NFL's worst division. All right.
Okay, let me ask you this,
Yes.
because they have done a lot. Where do you think they should start building up, like in the draft and like the rest of free agency?
Okay, so they're picking 33rd and 39th, right there at the top of the second round. I don't want to give too much away for our mock draft video coming out, but I think they should go wide receiver and center. Okay. I don't want to just rely on Austin Corbett maybe being able to stay healthy and also maybe being able to play center. I want to go ahead and get a guy in there who can be their center for the foreseeable future, who can really solidify that O-line moving forward. And, Deontay Johnson's on a 1-year deal. Adam Thielen is, in his mid-30s. He's not going to be there very long. I don't think anybody likes what they've seen from Jonathan Mingo so far. You haven't gotten anything, or they didn't get anything from Terrace Marshall. So they still, they need to improve that wide receiver room. They have to get guys who are going to be there long term. Now, hopefully, Deontay Johnson plays well, signs an extension, and he's there. But as of right now, that's not the way things are. And there's a lot of talent there at that wide receiver position, and they should invest early in the draft in getting targets for Bryce Young.
Yeah. No, Antonio, the Panthers are in the NFC South, not the AFC South. He was saying that they could win a division, but the Texans will be tough. Antonio, the Ravens have to worry about the Texans. They're in the AFC. The Texans are very tough. Yes, the NFC South, and it's okay, Antonio. It's okay if you don't know who's in the NFC South. Nobody watches them. So you got you got the Panthers, you got the Falcons, you got Tampa Bay, and you got who's a New Orleans. See, I already forgot. And you got New Orleans. Nobody watches.
And it's crazy that you say that because every one of those teams has been to the Super Bowl recently.
I know. That's crazy.
So the Panthers want the Ravens' 30th pick. Listen, I'm like Clay Davis. I'll take anybody's pick if they're just giving it away. Now, if you want something in return, the answer is no, my friend.
It's crazy, right? When you say the Panthers don't have a first round pick, the Ravens have a first round pick, it seems like they're miles apart. But when you say the Ravens had a 30th pick and Panthers had 33rd pick,
right.
Yeah,
they're right there.
You're getting the same level of talent.
Yeah.
Right. So if talent's going to drop, there's going to be plenty of guys there.
Yeah, you're getting an extra year is all.
Yeah.
That 5th-year option.
Well, not with our picks.
Oh, I mean.
We decline them. So I think this. Yes, I agree with the center pick. I think the 33rd pick goes center. What was your other pick? 39th?
Yeah.
It's so close. It doesn't matter. Get a center.
Either way.
Get a center. Right, so you solidify that because you got two good guards, you got a solid right tackle, you hit on center. I mean, Ikwanu's the question mark. If he can step it up, you're golden.
Yeah.
If he's not that guy, okay, you're weak on the left tackle side, but the rest of your O-line can be solid and you can cover that up. So your O-line is going to be good overall, right? They're going to be straight. Yes, Deontay Johnson, maybe he extends, maybe he doesn't. That's the risk right there. But for now, you got Deontay Johnson, you got Adam Thielen, all right, and we got to see what you get from Jonathan Mingo this year. But all in all, you're good. You got Miles Sanders on the team, okay? So you got some decent guys there, decent to good players. Go for defense, man. Like Coach said, edge. I agree with them. Go and get an edge.
My thing is, I don't think that like defense doesn't win for you, right? And I think they need to build around Bryce. They made that mistake with Cam of worrying too much about the defense. They went out and they signed Clowney. They signed DJ Wanham. They signed Chase on. They just similar to Baltimore. Now the picks weren't as high, but they just drafted Amari Barno. They just drafted DJ Johnson in the 3rd round. They went out and they got Ashawn Robinson to put next to Derek Brown, who they extended. They have Shaq Thompson coming back. He missed most of last year. They signed Josie Jewell, who's played for Evero back in Denver. I think that defense is going to be solid enough. They need help at corner. They even went out and filled their hole at safety in free agency. So yeah, they have a hole at corner, but I mean, if I'm looking at what's going to help this team more, I mean, right now and in the long term, I'm thinking it's wide receiver and O-line over really any position on the defense.
Okay. Chat, what do you think? Should they go defense or offense? I mean, they have 2 picks, almost back to back.
And right? Well, and the reality too is that they have to figure out this year if Bryce Young is the guy or not. I think he is, but you have to know for sure. And the only way that you're going to know for sure is if you protect him and he has people to throw to.
Uh-oh. Did you freeze?
No.
Oh, was that on my end?
Yeah.
I can't tell. I can't tell with EV Mux. All right. But, okay. Urban says offense. All right. Luke K says only defense that won a Super Bowl were the 2000 Ravens. No, they weren't the only one. The Seahawks, the Legion of Boom, they won it. The Bears.
They did, but they still had a good offense. Obviously, the Bears. I mean, they played in 1985. I mean, we were talking about Stone Age football. So I mean, I don't know, but
so it's 2000 Ravens.
I know. No, I'm saying defense doesn't win championships now. It just doesn't.
No, although I do like the defensive performances from teams last year. Right, we saw a little bit of renaissance from the defenses last year.
They were getting the defense is catching up, and then the NFL says, you know what, you can't tackle anymore. Killer Cam is correct here. The 2015 Broncos. Thank you for bringing that up, Cam. They did win with defense, beating Carolina that year. A big part of that, though, was that Carolina didn't have a real offense, and the best parts of their fake offense got hurt in the Super Bowl. So I think had they actually built a good offense in Carolina rather than doing the Baltimore Raven thing and just kind of leaning on Cam Newton to be superhuman every game, they would have blown out Denver.
Yeah. So that's how they do it. The NFC, I don't even know. You got Kirk Cousins, who's a quarterback in Atlanta. Who's a quarterback in New Orleans?
Still Derek Carr.
That's right. I forgot about Derek Carr.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Baker Mayfield, quarterback in Tampa.
That's right. That brand new extension.
I mean, they're still. I mean, they're competitive.
I'm happy.
I am too.
But
I am too.
I'm really happy for the Panthers, though.
It's a winnable division.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the draft, right? Like you got to see the second half of free agency and who gets cut, who else they can add. So that's gonna play a factor. And yes, Bryce Young just has to step up this year. He has to step up. That's the key to everything, because outside of his play, coupled with the O-line, obviously, right, and really wide receivers, like the defense was solid.
Yeah, the defense played very well, even though it wasn't an overly talented unit. They have a great defensive coordinator, and that's why I'm not worried about them drafting defense. So they went out and they plugged holes with guys that they felt comfortable with. They went, like I said, Josie Jewell played for Evero. They went, they went and got Ashawn Robinson, who's been a starter for a number of years. They went and they got several edge rushers to kind of throw into the mix. So they're not relying on one guy like they were last year with Brian Burns. The only hole that they haven't really filled is corner. They signed Dane Jackson, but he's been more of a special teams guy. But I would expect they are at some point in this draft going to go corner. I just don't think it should be with those first two picks.
Okay. All right. So, Dan Morgan, we gave you the keys to victory. All right. So just go ahead and do that. Now, I mentioned a team in the NFC South, B. The Atlanta Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Atlanta Falcons, it's funny you bring that up because they're going to be witnesses in a case coming up in the court of public opinion. All right. We have 2 cases coming up. All right. So everybody get ready. If you don't know what court of public opinion is, this is where athletes, and celebrities stand trial. Okay. The only court that matters, because we don't care about the real justice. We care about our opinions. So, are you ready? You ready to start? Look at Just Allo. Calm down, Just Allo. Order. He's ain't guilty already. Are we ready for a court of public opinion?
We are ready.
Let's go.
And there it is. And since you brought it up, we're going to go ahead and start with Robert Kraft versus Bill Belichick, former New England Patriots head coach, winner of 6 Super Bowls, greatest coach of all time, thrown under the bus by the owner of the New England Patriots, threw him under the bus and backed up over him a couple times. Allegedly went to Arthur Blank and told him that you can't trust Bill Belichick.
Oh, I have the tweet here.
There you go.
From Warren Sharp. Let me blow this up for you guys.
Robert Kraft called Arthur Blank to warn him not to trust Bill Belichick. Kraft was a big part of why the Falcons passed on hiring Belichick. Kraft found Bill to be extremely difficult and obstinate and kind of stubborn, and in the end, not worthy of his trust, and also very, very, very arrogant.
Yeah, there's more in that story, but that comes down to it is Robert Kraft, probably at an owners meeting or when they're, on their yacht somewhere, and Arthur Blank asked him, "Hey, we're interviewing Bill. What do you think?" And he said, "Don't do it, brother. Don't do it. He's gonna control. He's gonna want to take control of your team." He left out the part of where he said, "Well, he might win you some Super Bowls. He might actually win you a Super Bowl, but."
Listen, my opinion is you can never trust owners. Period.
No.
It's their own little club. They're always only going to look out for each other. They're always going to screw over their employees whenever possible. But my goodness, what kind of ghoul do you have to be to talk bad about a dude who won you 6 Super Bowls?
You can't ask for more.
No.
So what if he was a little hard to get along with? You shouldn't even be talking to him.
Right.
You shouldn't have that much interaction. It should have been, I'm not, we're not best friends or anything like that. But I mean, the work speaks for itself. He's a genius. Of course, you hire him. You're trying to win. Now, you said, you can't trust owners, but owners also can't trust other owners.
Yeah.
Because like that right there. I mean, maybe Bill Belichick, his time might pass. Maybe he doesn't have it anymore. I don't know. But the resume speaks for itself. And if you're that gullible, to have another owner tell you, nah, he ain't good for your team. He was good for your team all these years, right? Why did it take so long to get rid of him? Oh, because he was winning? Oh, he could probably help my team win? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sign him. So if you're that gullible to say, oh, My friend Robert Kraft said, don't sign that guy, and I'm gonna trust his judgment. You get what you get.
Yeah, no, and listen, I think that they did end up with a good coach. So I think they'll be fine. There are questions, like you said, about whether or not the game has passed Belichick by a bit, because that just happens to older coaches. I mean, that's a natural part of things. He did take Mac Jones to the playoffs a couple years ago, so I'm going to guess that it hasn't completely passed him by. But I think the Falcons are going to be fine with Raheem Morris once they get rid of Kirk Cousins. But from the coaching aspect, I think they'll be okay. It's to me so dirty to do that to someone, and this goes beyond football. This is just a life thing. To do somebody dirty like that who you've had such a close relationship with for such a long time, and for what? What did you get out of that?
It's one thing. We just had EDC on here not too long ago for talking about a player. Who was it? Kenny Young. Talking about Kenny Young. Needlessly throwing him under the bus. He's not part of your team anymore. Nobody's talking about him, right? And you said, here's a fun story. I'm going to volunteer up. There's this idiot. I'm not going to say his name. His last name was Young. We traded him to the Rams.
First name rhymes with Benny.
Yeah. Okay, his name is Kenny. So like you threw that out there. That was completely classless. Completely classless. This is even worse, right? Yeah. Like, it's one thing if Bill Belichick was just a bad coach. He was a bad coach, and he had a bad attitude, and he was trying to take over the team. I mean, there's lots of coaches like that, but you only hear to talk about those coaches, right? Like, Josh McDaniels took a job and didn't show up day one.
Hired an entire staff and just bailed on them.
I want to know, does Robert Kraft tell other teams not to talk to Josh McDaniels?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's never done anything but be a terrible coach.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Belichick is one of the greatest coaches, the greatest coach of all time. Don't care how you feel about him. That's what he is.
Right.
And to tell Arthur Blank, he doesn't like Arthur Blank. That's what it is. Robert Kraft is looking at him. He's like, listen to this chump asking me about Bill Belichick. I'm going to tell him not to hire him. I'm going to see if he's dumb enough to do it. He said, oh, don't hire him? Cool. Raheem Morris. Now, congrats to Raheem Morris. I'm happy for him because, not enough black coaches in the league. But that's how gullible that guy is. So, I mean, coach says, throw ice cream on my floor, I might slap you.
Once again, I said it when we talked about it. That ain't your floor. That ain't your carpet.
And it was an accident. He was trying to throw it in the trash.
You ain't got to clean it up.
The way he told the story, he tried to make it seem like Kenny Young was disrespecting him, right? He wasn't. He was trying to throw the ice cream into the trash. He missed the trash can. Most people do, because y'all ain't got that sweet jumper like I do, okay? you ain't got it like I got it. All right. Now,
you wasn't in the gym with Jose throwing away ice cream.
Yeah. You weren't putting in the work.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw off the poll here. Who are you siding with on this one? That's what we want to know. If you think Robert Kraft is in the right, go ahead and type #Kraft. If you think he was wrong, type #Bill. Say you support Bill Belichick in this one. Personally, I think Robert Kraft is wrong all day. I don't think you do that to you. I don't think you should be able to do that to your former employees, period. And certainly not someone who did so much for you when he was working for you, when he was working for the Patriots. It's ridiculous. So I'm going with Robert Kraft is guilty. Supporting Bill on this one.
Hey, what's up, Nitro? Says almost at 2K. Guys, congrats. Y'all stay grinding. Salute. And so do you. All right, Wonderkin Show, man. I see you over there. Okay, you're doing big things over there. There's only one way to vote here. Okay, there's only one way, because it's like when you go to court and you're standing trial, you're accused of something, right? And they say, how do you plead guilty or not guilty? And you don't put in anything, right? You don't show up to court. The other side is presenting all the facts, and you're just not there. Okay. Robert Kraft hasn't categorically denied anything. He hasn't denied anything at all.
Mm.
Now, I know the story just came out. I mean, I'm not sure how long ago it was, but long enough for a word to get back to you, and long enough for you to write a response diss track. Okay. I would, if I'm an owner, I can't have that. I can't have that out there.
Yeah.
I cannot have that out there, because that's just going to make it harder for me down the road to get good quality coaches. Right.
And we are almost at an even split here. Disappointed in y'all.
You guys are
that's
crazy.
All right. That's okay. That's your opinion. You know what? You guys got a chance to make it up.
See, this is the problem right here. This is the problem right here. Big Red says hashtag they both suck. That's not an option, sir. That's not an option. Wait, so who won the poll?
Man, they out here supporting Bob Kraft 6-4.
Kivy Woods, you got to put hashtag for the vote to count. You got to put hashtag Kraft. You know, we want all your votes to count. So put hashtag Kraft. You want Kraft. House says Kraft. Coach says Kraft. You guys really hate Bill Belichick.
All right, we're gonna move on to case number 2 here. I am disgusted, and I'm going to give you a chance to make it up, to redeem yourselves with this one. All right, did you upload the video?
I did. Give me okay. Here it is. All right, so all right, lead us in, and I'll tell the people what we're watching here.
So we are about to watch. I mean, honestly, probably from being honest, mental illness. But we're about to watch a clip of Aaron Rodgers.
You got to put Aaron Rodgers on the bottom.
Yeah.
The people versus Aaron Rodgers. The people versus Aaron Rodgers.
We're about to. Oops, I clicked on the wrong one.
As we know, Aaron Rodgers. You know,
edit and ticker, and there it is.
All right.
Aaron has some out there thoughts. Aaron is not afraid of sharing his out there thoughts recently. But Aaron went on, I don't know if it was his own podcast or he was doing it or something. He found a microphone and he decided to go on a rant about HIV being government created.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So we'll play the clip. I shortened it a little bit. I know YouTube gets a little, they get they get a little antsy when you start mentioning these topics, but we don't really care. All right.
Y'all gotta wait until I put the poll up to say guilty or not.
Man, you guys are terrible jurors. I just want you to know this.
Every week, I'm like, we got to clear this courtroom. All right, play the clip.
Hold on a second. I just had to lay it too. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Okay, here we go. It's Aaron Rodgers.
The blueprint, the game plan was made in the 80s. Create a pandemic, with a virus that's going wild, right? Fauci was given like over $350 million to research this, to come up with drugs, new or repurposed, to handle the AIDS pandemic. And all they came up with was AZT. And if you do even a smidge of research, and I know I'm not a, epidemiologist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not an immunologist, whatever I can read though, right? And I can learn and look things up just like any normal person. I can do my own research, which was so vilified, to even question.
Oh, that's all I put down. But he goes on to say that, Fauci received $350 million from the government to come up with a cure, and all he did was come up with some medication, and he went on a rant about Pfizer is evil, and I mean he's right about that. Most of these corporations are, but I mean the part that you might have missed, because he likes to sound like he's well studied and well versed in these matters, is that he basically said that AIDS, HIV is a man-made virus, right? It was created by the government, essentially. Mm-hmm. All right. He has no proof or evidence of that. Okay.
No, why would he?
Right.
and he kind of downplayed what the medicine community has been able to do with HIV and AIDS. I mean, HIV and AIDS used to be a death sentence.
Yes.
And a short one, right? Not anymore. You can live a long, happy life, a long, happy, normal life, being positive. You can reduce the amount of the virus in your system to where it's not even detectable at this point. How many people remember that Magic Johnson has AIDS?
Right.
Because he was diagnosed in what, 92?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. I mean, we 32 years later.
I cried, man. I thought he was going to die.
Yeah, because he was. Because that's what happened to people who got HIV then.
Yeah.
Right. The first person that I really remember was I believe his name was Pedro on The Real World.
I remember him. Yep.
Yeah, one of the first seasons he got it, and he was gone real quick.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little, not a little disingenuous. It's incredibly disingenuous to be like, oh, you got all this money to try and cure it, and look, it's just much more livable. But he's also the same guy who kind of questioned and downplayed the fact that we had a vaccine for COVID so quickly, right? So, hey, if you get the money to do the research and you find something, then you're probably lying about it. If you get the money to do research and you don't cure it, then you're also a fraud. Aaron Rodgers is a goddamn clown.
Now, Big Rich, I'm not trying to call you out, right? It's fine if you believe this, right? I believe it's man-made too. Controlling population is all governments care about. That's fine if you believe that, right? I believe in certain things that I can't prove. I talk these heads off about aliens all the time, right? Now, you don't have proof of it, right? And you're not speaking about it like it's fact. But you said right there, I believe. That's fine if you believe it. If Aaron Rodgers is saying, hey, these are my beliefs. I believe this, whatever. I'm basing it off of whatever. He can't do that. He's out there trying to say it's fact. He wants to debate Anthony Fauci, even though he's not a genealogist, but he can read, right? He can read. So I guess it's all good. Trust him. All right. So, but the real question, because he is guilty. This is not. We can put it in there, guilty or not guilty. But the real question here is distraction or not distraction. Okay. Because I remember when a quarterback named Colin Kaepernick decided to not say anything, but just take a knee during an anthem. And he got questioned about it. And he said, hey, look, this is a silent protest for police brutality against Black people across the country. And this country was in an uproar. And this was no place for politics. Okay. I don't turn on my ESPN, my NFL network for politics. I just want to see these guys play football. Now, this wasn't on the field, but this is your quarterback, New York Jets, okay? Talking about something that's not football related. Now, what happens when they ask him about this? Because they will, because they've asked him questions about, vaccines and all that stuff before. Now, what happens when he answers this question with his uniform on?
Mm-hmm.
Distraction or not distraction?
You mean like when he said, I'm immunized?
Yes, I'm immunized. When he lied about being vaccinated and he thought he was being slick.
Right. Because yes, again, this is a league that takes any sign of a player's individuality as being a distraction and reasons why they shouldn't be they shouldn't be paid, they shouldn't be on the team, they shouldn't be whatever. But there are certain players who are able to get away with things like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why Aaron Rodgers is still one of those players, because the reality is he hasn't been he hasn't performed recently, right? He's not in Green Bay anymore, who he won a Super Bowl for. Yeah. And then he missed all of last season, and now all he's in the news for is just saying crazy things.
Yeah.
and I just don't know. I don't understand why it's okay, even for Jets fans, that Aaron Rodgers is doing this, and it's not like this massive distraction and talking about, hey, we need to get rid of this guy, we need to be looking in another direction for quarterback, and etc.
I mean, because he was talking about AIDS and HIV, but he's really the conversation was about COVID, right? New York got hit. That's one of the places that got hit the most, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the death toll, but it was high from COVID deaths. And this is a guy just like, just immunize yourself.
Mm.
That's your guy, New Yorkers.
Yeah.
Yes, and yes, he openly does drugs. That's the other thing. What is it with Green Bay quarterbacks and their open use of drugs?
They know there's not going to be any consequences.
Yeah.
I mean, Brett was on drugs. Brett was sexually harassing people, and Brett was stealing money from the government. And nothing's happened to Brett yet. Brett
is still stealing money because he hasn't paid it back.
Yeah. Wow, I just put it up and we got 4 guilty. So yeah, if you you feel like Aaron is guilty of being a distraction and he should be taking some heat from the team and the fans for the things he's saying publicly, go ahead and hit #guilty. Otherwise, hey, you know what? He can say what he wants. Go ahead and hit that #not guilty.
P. Brodny is merciful. Mm-hmm. He says, I'm gonna let him live. Salute to you, P. Brodny. Mm-hmm. You got to put #Luke K. If you put just guilty, it doesn't read it. You got to put #guilty, #guilty. Now, where's the one? P. Brodny just said not guilty. It didn't show
up. I think you got to hold on. Let me check here. I want to say it's got to be all.
You know what? Yeah, it's got to be all one word, P. Brodny. Yeah, but word. We got you.
My bad, P.
It also doesn't matter because he's getting crushed here.
You're getting slaughtered. It's pretty good that you're not up there standing by yourself. Aaron Rodgers-ing it, as it were.
That also said not guilty. Your vote counts. Don't worry. You gotta make it one word. #not guilty. You guys know how hashtags work. You know how they work. All right. So it's 10-2 in reality. 10-2 so far. Can I vote him guilty again?
All right, there you go. They got their votes in.
Okay. All right, he's guilty. He's a distraction. Get him out of here. All right. Okay, that is it for Court of Public Opinion. What do we have next?
I think we're probably heading on to submitted questions.
Hey, the Bills, you said, what? You're late? You coming to the court late? The charge is he's a distraction.
He was here the entire time. He was here the whole time.
The charge is he's a distraction. You mean what's the what's the
punishment? Man, yeah. Listen, I look. I'm not one to ever wish injury on players. Right? When Aaron Rodgers went down last year, that's unfortunate. But goddamn, just go away. And I don't care how it happens. He's got to be off of television. He's got to be off the internet forever.
The punishment is I hope Anthony Fauci does take him up on his challenge to debate him one day so he can get eviscerated.
But the problem with it is it's just ignorance from Aaron Rodgers and the people who follow Aaron Rodgers or think like Aaron Rodgers. So he'll get eviscerated and none of them will recognize it.
Yeah, that's true.
He'll just sit back with a little smug, grin on his face and they'll be like, "Oh, he owned Fauci."
But, all right. Submitted questions time. All right. What do we have?
First up, we've got several that I did not change the ticker because I just put them up there, but that's all right. This one is from D. Weezy. Should the Panthers fans thank Robert Kraft for sabotaging Belichick? I'm going to say no. Like I said, I think that I think the Falcons got a good coach in Raheem Morris. I think that they need to thank the GM for bringing in Kirk Cousins and paying him all that guaranteed money, because we all know that a Kirk Cousins-led team is not a threat to anybody.
That's a fact. Now, he might trick you at points, and you might think, man, they're pretty good. They might go on a 3 or 4 game win streak. He might have multiple 300-yard games and 3 or 4 touchdowns. You're like, man, he's looking pretty good. But that will fall apart. That's guaranteed.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm saying no need to thank him. The Falcons, as they always do, will take care of themselves.
Correct.
Next up from Jay, will the Fever and Sky, and if you don't know, that's the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky of the WNBA, will they challenge the Las Vegas Aces and the New York Liberty this year? And also, will this be the best year for the WNBA in terms of viewers and revenue? In terms of viewers and revenue, yes, absolutely. In terms of them challenging the Aces and the Liberty, don't think it's going to happen this year. The Fever have a really good young core of players. They've been pretty bad for several years now, so they've been picking high. But they're not good enough to deal with the top teams in the league. Like there are a couple super teams at the top of the WNBA. And the same thing with the Sky. They got Reese and Cardoso, but it's going to be a while before they're legit title contenders.
Yeah, I can't remember how you say Aja Wilson. Asia Wilson. That grown woman basketball. Okay. Candace Parker, even though like she's her career is winding down. I mean, she won Defensive Player of the Year. Was it 2 years ago?
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure though.
It wasn't that long ago. Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, the Aces are stacked.
Yeah.
They are stacked. You just haven't heard about them because they haven't gotten, WNBA hasn't gotten that much hype. But, with more people watching this year, and yes, this will be the highest ratings they've ever had, I believe. With more people watching the young stars, they're going to have their time. Angel Reese and Cardoso are going to have their time. Keelan Clark's going to have her time. But, just like in any professional sport, most of the time, it's not a young person's league, right?
Yeah.
And it's no different with the WNBA. They're not going to come in here and dominate.
Right. Next up, this one is from Just Allo. He says, this is a question for me. Why do you hate Jalen Hurts so much? And he says, as a diabolical hater himself, he would like to know a reason, because for everything he seems like a decent quarterback. I don't hate Jalen Hurts. The only athlete I hate is Chris Paul.
You don't really hate Chris Paul.
I hate the way Chris Paul plays basketball.
Yeah.
I hate that he's an angry little dick puncher. But I don't hate Jalen Hurts. I say that Jalen Hurts is a fraud. And the reason I say it so passionately is because when he was in college, I looked at Jalen Hurts and I said, that guy not going to make it. Can't play. Not going to be an NFL quarterback. Then he got to the NFL in his first year. I was like, yeah, no, can't play. And then he had his MVP type season, and they got to the Super Bowl, and he got that $250 million contract. And I was like, oh, okay, good for him. I was wrong. Jalen Hurts can play. And there's something about, especially Eagles quarterbacks, but there's something about, quarterbacks in general who, once they hear me say, okay, I was wrong, he can play, they reveal themselves to be the trash that I knew they were in the beginning. After that Super Bowl run, he came back and he played, I'm not going to say he played terribly, but pretty close. He's bailed out by having, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, and the best O-line in the league in front of him, DeAndre Swift behind him. Like, he's got all the talent in the world. And I mean, just he can't get it done, and that's why Just Allo, I seem to hate Jalen Hurts so much. Okay, but I am very, very happy for Jalen that he got to the Super Bowl and he got that contract. I wish him nothing but the best, but he is still a fraud
because he's a hater.
And
okay, what's next?
Will put it, he's a fake Shamar Moore.
Oh my goodness, haters! 2 haters there. 2 haters.
Up next, this one is from K White. Is what skill? Oh my god, I keep doing this. I'm gonna take that down. Just so annoying. All right, there we go. What skill set makes an offensive lineman, dominant in pass protection?
That's a Coach and Chris question.
Well,
You
for
guys
this one,
send us.
look, hey,
We're going to answer it.
you need good balance, good feet, agility, balance, and obviously a strong lower half to be able to anchor against a bull rush. Quick feet, because one, you got to keep up with just athletic freaks on the edge, but you've also got to be able to recover when they either they hit you with a double move or they beat you. And you've got to be able to move and get back in position so you're not leaning and reaching all the time. But so, I mean, I'm going to say that that's the main things is the
You have to have good bend too.
Yeah, but you got to have the feet, you got to have balance, you got to have a strong lower half to start with. Obviously, there's a whole lot more technique and everything that goes into it.
Well, technique, yeah. Mental part, like being able to read your assignments, knowing when the blitz is coming, know who to pick up, things like that. Like, because a lot of that stuff, I mean, when you see guys miss, that's not a physical thing. That's just they don't know what they're doing, right? Who was it? Was it last year, Coach? Who was it? With was it John Simpson? He was blocking nobody. He turned his back. He turned his back to the defense, and his face Lamar. Was that John Simpson?
Multiple times, yes.
Yeah, like that's not physicality. That's not he's not he doesn't have the feet or anything like that. He doesn't have it right here.
You can't just be calling people stupid. Right. You can't do that. Just Alice says, "Oh man, you're hating for the best reason of all. You just don't like the guy. Hate. I'm not hating, Just Alice, not at all." All right, last up for the submitted questions. This one is from our guy Noah. It says, "Who is one under the radar prospect you would like your team to draft?" And I'll go ahead and go first on this one. I got my guy all queued up right here. My guy is Louisville running back Isaac Guerendo. As you can see right here, his RAS score 9.98. He's 221 pounds and ran a 4.33. So he's got an elite speed grade, but also he's great in the agility grades. An elite in the vertical or the explosion grades. So, a super athletic guy who's also got great size. And watching him play, he seems to have a bit of patience about him, waiting for the holes to open up, but he is quick to get going north and south. Like, he's not wasting time. I mean, I have seen him bounce things outside when necessary, and again, a 220-pound guy outrunning everybody to the corner and getting the sideline is pretty impressive. But I think I don't know how under the radar he is. I think he's projected to go on day 3 right now. But that's a guy I would love for Carolina to pick up. I don't think that they should draft running back early.
Okay. This is going to shock you, B, but I want a good lineman. I want a good offensive lineman. Who's the guy from? Why do I keep forgetting his name? The guy from UConn.
Christian Haynes. I don't know, and
he's been getting some buzz. I don't think he's under the radar, but I don't think he's a first round pick either. So
I think the reality is there's really no such thing as under the radar anymore with 24/7 draft coverage from thousands of people online.
Yeah. So I mean, what you're asking is there a guy that isn't really highly touted, that's not really expected to be good that we expect to be good? I don't know. I've been laser focused on us getting the offensive lineman. So I mean, take your pick. Like we have to get 2, possibly 3. I haven't really been looking at any other skill position. I don't care about wide receivers in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. All right. I don't care about edge or cornerbacks. I don't. We have to get the O-line fixed.
Dewan says James Williams from the U. I only put that up there because he said the U. And we're going to take that back down now. But yeah. For me, like I said, Isaac Guerendo, super athlete, and I think he'll be there day 3 for Carolina.
All right.
So that is about it for the submitted questions.
Cool. All right.
We should probably just go now.
Yeah, we should leave. You know what? I didn't put the basketball background on here, did I?
No.
We'll do that later. That's unfortunate. All right, real quick, let's get an NBA playoff update. All right, it is the NBA playoffs. The Lakers survived against the Pelicans. Now they won pretty comfortably.
Well, I mean, they didn't win comfortably.
They went on a run at the end. Yeah,
they were up comfortably, and then Zion went off, and they kind of just let him. They were up 18 in the third quarter, and eventually they let the Pelicans come all the way back and tie it. They tied it several times. Zion got hurt, and that was unfortunate. He strained his left hamstring, and from that point on, it was never really in doubt. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody kind of expected the Lakers to win that one anyway. And now, you move on, and New Orleans has to try and get by Sacramento without Zion Williamson. He's out for that game, and that's kind of that's the winner go home game at this point for the 8th seed.
Yeah. And Danny has some breaking news. It says the Golden State Warriors will be sitting on the couch for the playoffs with the Spurs. Hashtag Cancun. Hashtag no more rings. Hashtag Hendo. Wow.
I don't like the way they say that these teams haven't made the playoffs. They've made it. I don't like that they don't count it, because they're playing in the postseason. And if you're playing in the postseason, you're playing in the playoffs. Because it doesn't count towards your regular season record.
Right. Yeah, it's a playoff game. It's a playoff game. You win, you keep advancing. So It's a playoff game. All right. Yolanda says, "Let's go Magic." And yes, like Dandy said, the Warriors are out. And the question is, what happens to that team moving forward? I would imagine they want to move on from Draymond. I know Steph he can't wait to get him off that team. They said they want to bring back Clay.
Yeah, they're not bringing back Clay. And I think Clay's probably gonna. I think he's probably gonna quit.
You think he's gonna call it a career?
I think he probably will.
He's had a great career.
He has had a phenomenal career. And look, in the NBA for the longest time, it was just the prevailing thought that you couldn't win a championship with your point guard being the best player on the team. Right, you had to have big guys and a point guard. You couldn't be a jump shooting team because your jumper was going to fail at some point. You go cold and then you're done. And the Warriors, they came through and they blew that out of the water. They won 4 titles, and the reality is, I think it's still kind of true. Because they didn't just have the greatest 3-point shooter of all time in Steph Curry. They had like the 2 greatest 3-point shooters of all time with Curry and Clay.
Yeah.
And so if Steph Curry wasn't on, which I know Hendo doesn't like when I say this, is quite often, he was not clutch at all. Clay was right there for them. A team that's just rolling out with a Steph Curry probably doesn't even win 1 title.
Yeah, that's true. Danny throwing the shots, boy.
It's messed up.
Just how it says, Steph Curry ruined the NBA. I miss the days of fast breaks and mid-range shots, fancy post-up moves. Damn you, Steph.
He didn't ruin anything. You just old, man.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander ain't no 3-point shooter. He's a mid-range shooter.
You just old, just Allo.
SGA, right?
That's all.
3-pointers are always more exciting than mid-range shots. Okay.
Look, I mean, mid-range shots are aesthetically pleasing when you get those turnaround jumpers from guys like Jordan and Kobe and LeBron and Dirk and all, and Carmelo and all of them. But get to the basket, bro. It's still 2 points. If you're gonna shoot from all the way away from the basket, then step behind the line and get an extra point.
Yeah. Keeping up the theme of basketball, real quick, we'll discuss some WNBA, the draft.
Well, before we mention that, real quick, the just an update: the Miami Heat are 51-39 on the Philadelphia 76ers in the Eastern Conference play-in game, and that's with Jimmy Butler going 2 for 8, scoring 10 points. So, I mean, I've been saying that Joel Embiid's a bit of a fraud, and here he is.
Joel
Heading
Embiid in the
home.
playoffs, man, and I'm an Embiid fan. But what I say the other day, Coach, how do you stop Joel Embiid? Them run up and down the court.
MDT Sports says LeBron don't know how to post. MDT, you need to find a new sport to watch because my God, do you not know what you're talking about?
It's NET Sports, and listen, anybody that hates on LeBron, it's too late. It's too late.
Right.
He's the greatest player of all time. Yeah, if you want to argue Jordan or Kobe or whoever, okay, I'm not even going to argue with that. If you want to say he's not even better than Oscar Robertson, although you never seen a highlight of Oscar Robinson, the big O, right? But okay, fine. What are you going to name 5 players better than him? He's the 6th greatest player of all time.
You know how you know Jimmy Buckets isn't the guy you think he is, MDT Sports? Because you just said reading his stat line was hating on him.
Why are you bringing up the truth, B?
I mean, honestly, the truth is that LeBron is better in his 21st season than your favorite player was in their best year.
Yeah. It's too late, man. It's too late. You might think he's not better than Jordan. That's fine. He's your Michael Jordan.
I did it again.
You did it again. What's going on with you?
Because I had to create all these because you put a bunch of extra topics on here, and so they weren't created as tickers.
I was working late, man. I'm sorry. I was working until the last minute. So while B's fixing that, okay,
it's fixed. It's fixed.
Okay, fine. So we got 50 people in here, man. Salute to you guys, man. Salute to you guys. Hit that like button. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. All right. You want to sign up to our Patreon. All right. If you haven't done it already, go ahead and make that commitment. All right. Tax season is over. You got your refund. If you didn't get a refund, you've had time to recover from that.
Get over that.
To get over it. Yes. Spend a little money that's not going to cost you a lot on something that'll make you feel much better. Okay. And that is our Patreon. Patreon.com/LBHT Show.
I love it when people get so angry that they just make stuff up. You're telling me the Warriors don't flop?
Don't put up comments when I'm plugging our Patreon.
Bad. I'm sorry. It was funny.
Patreon.com/LBHT Show. All right. If you want to see more disasters like this, the Overtime Show is the place to go. Yes. We have a lot of time. We have a lot of fun on the Overtime Show. All joking aside. We usually have one topic that I start the show off with. I didn't upload the promo, but this show is going to be a little different because the recorded videos that you guys see that you love so much, as of recent, we started recording them this week. We have one more to record for the Panthers. We're going to be doing their mock draft. But what we like to do from time to time is record them live, so you guys can watch the process, see how we do it, and then once we're done recording, we just hang out. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to hang out, talk some fancy football. We're going to talk a little Jonte Porter. Okay. If you don't know who he is, he was on our Court of Public Opinion. He did a very, very bad thing.
I'll tell you, if you don't know who he is, you ain't never going to learn.
You're never going to know. Hey. And shout out to Buck for a $5 donation. It says Suns in 6 over T-Wolves. Keep on hating, B.
I literally said nothing about the Suns. You see?
We really didn't.
But again, and I asked Buck this earlier, like, how is it's a hating for me to say that the Phoenix Suns are going to lose when I told him the second they brought in Kevin Durant that they were not a championship team.
No. Hey, shout out to Mr. Hunky Dory. Thanks for joining the live stream. Says Panthers are going to be the most improved team in the NFL. Morgan is cooking now to nail the draft. Hey, shout out to you. Hit that subscribe button. It looks like you're new in here. No, Morgan is cooking. Dan Morgan is doing a very good job so far. Yes, and he does need to nail the draft. So they're on the right path for sure. Let's see. Just Alex says the Overtime Show is great. I get in there on the rare occasions when I'm awake past 9:30. Yeah, he stayed for almost for the whole show. He did stay for the whole show last time. Yeah. Yep. Noah says, before y'all go, quick thoughts on UFC 300. Yeah, we haven't given you guys a combat corner in a while. And honestly, it's just because we haven't set up the scenes for it. That and basketball, like, we'll we'll get those transitions in there. But USC 300 was a good card. It was entertaining. I wasn't excited. I wasn't that pumped to watch it building up to it, because just in general, UFC has just been a letdown for me. Like, I just don't like the way Dana White runs the organization. He doesn't cultivate stars, and just the card going into it was underwhelming, right? Pereira, I like Pereira. I love Max Holloway, but Max Holloway, yes, it was a great finish to that fight. It was exciting, but Holloway's on his way up out of here, right? He's not a top fighter anymore. Pereira is a top fighter, and that's fine to have him on the card. But this card should have had John Jones. It should have had Adesanya, Pereira, and talk Amanda Nunes out of retirement, because she's still the best women's fighter in the sport. That's what this card should have been. It should have been a rematch between Aljamain Sterling and Sean O'Malley, right? Like, he doesn't know how to put together these cards to get they always talk about the best fighting the best, right? Pitting the best fighters against each other, but he never gets it right. He doesn't time it right. And this is supposed to be it. This is supposed to be your big thing. Not enough star power.
Yeah.
But USC, like, there's a lot of good fighters. So if you watch it, you're going to be entertained. And it was entertaining to watch. Did that answer your question, Noah?
Yeah. And I guess it's time to go. So we'll go ahead and do the trivia question now.
Okay. Is
John
Jones coming back? Yes. Yeah, he has a fight with Stipe Miocic. Well, they've been talking about it. I don't know. Yeah.
So there's 2 NFL teams that have franchise receiving leaders with under 7,000 yards. Who are they? Should be a fairly easy one.
All right. And if you guys don't know, if you're new here, this is for points, right? Everything you've been doing up to now, if you've been in the chat this whole time, you've been collecting points just by watching. You collect more points by participating in the chat. You collect even more points by donating. You collect even more points if we read your questions on air, submitted questions. And you can do that by DMing us, emailing us, LBHTShow@gmail.com. And you can DM us anywhere on social media where we're at LBHT Show. It's always the same, at LBHT Show. All right. So that gets you points and trivia. The first 3 people to get it right get points.
Daniel Franklin, I can't believe you had the nerve to type Panthers in there knowing that they had Steve Smith, because y'all took him and you were like, oh my God, this is what a real receiver looks like. And everybody else was like, no, he's 36. But that was like the closest you've been. But you still put the Panthers in there? All right.
Any right answers yet?
Nope.
Guys, I mean, we can't see if you're.
It's an easy one, but I promise you, it's just a thing that nobody's thinking about. And since there's no right answers yet, I'm going to throw out a hint. The other team is the same team. Well, one of the teams is the same team that has never had a 4,000-yard passer.
Well, the Ravens have had a 4,000-yard passer.
Mm-hmm. But we're asking for 2 teams.
Okay.
That's why I said other. Everybody got the Ravens. Everybody knew that.
Okay.
Y'all don't know any receivers.
I see some answers. Is that the right answer? Is there a right answer in the chat?
There is.
Okay, there's a right answer in the chat. All right, we'll give you a couple more seconds. Let's see. I'm gonna read his comment. He says Holloway definitely earned that fight. I will say that. I mean, yeah, but is he one of the top fighters still? No.
Look, he has a chance to come back, I think. He lost several times to Volkanovski, but he's still shockingly he's still pretty young.
He is.
And we finally have our third correct answer. I hate to bring it up, but MDT Sports, Ravens and Bears. So he came in third there. But yes, the Chicago Bears and the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens receiver is Derek Mason. Narrowly beat out the Chicago Bears leading wide receiver by less than 100 yards. They're both Derek Mason had 5,000, I believe it was 777 for Baltimore, which is over 1,000 less than every other team in the league. The high mark in the NFL, we'll give out bonus points for that one. Can you guess which team has the receiving leader with the most yards for that team? And again, it is just for that team. Like Derek Mason had more than 5,700 yards in his career, but he had 5,700 yards for Baltimore. So, what team had the receiver with the most yards for them?
Yeah, I would say
that
49ers.
That one should be pretty easy as well.
Who else is up there? Are the Colts up there? Harrison and Wayne.
I'm gonna be honest with you. No one else is up there.
Oh yeah. When you see Jerry Rice at the top of a list,
number
two is
there's one team that's up there. That's close. It is the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh,
with
Larry Fitzgerald.
With Larry Fitzgerald, yeah. Because Jerry Rice, he's got over 22,000 yards for his career. He had over 19,000 for the 49ers. And Larry Fitzgerald ended with over 17K in Arizona.
Okay.
So shout out to Pay the Bills, who got that first, so he'll get the bonus points on that one. But yeah, 49ers need to, the 49ers, the Ravens need to go ahead and get out of the Chicago Bears company, because you got Lamar Jackson. He's been there for 6 full seasons. You should already have someone with more than 5,700 receiving yards.
Yeah,
it's embarrassing.
No, not Mark Andrews. He's not going to get it.
No. Brandon asking if that hurts to say. You're the only one who thinks that I hate Arizona. Y'all aren't good enough at anything for me to hate. You're not relevant enough in any way, bro. I love Larry Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Larry Fitzgerald is one of my favorite players ever.
Yeah. Great player. All right. That's the show, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to hang out with us some more, go over to patreon.com/LBHT Show. Do you have $5 in your pocket? I know you do. All right. Go over there. Also, right there, check out our merch, LBHT Show. That the light's kind of blinding. LBHTshow.com/shop. Okay. You like what we're wearing? All right. Go over and check out the shop. We keep on saying we're going to update some stuff on there. We're going to do that pretty soon, but there's some dope gear on there. Summer's coming.
Even Will Smith in that movie about him being poor had $5 in his pocket in one of those scenes.
There you go. He was signing up for the Patreon. Okay. Yes. So we're going to be recording some mock draft. We're going to be talking about some fantasy football. We're going to be talking about Jonte Porter. He is out of here. We gave him some legal advice. He didn't take it. And here we are. Okay. All right. So, man, I don't know what's going on Twitter, man, but man, people have been showing up on Twitter. We got a lot of people over there on Twitter. If you're watching on Twitter, follow us. For however long Twitter, we're going to be on Twitter because, Elon Musk keeps trying to do weird things with it. All right. Follow us there. Follow us at Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Blue Sky, all at LBHT Show. All right. B, are you ready to get up out of here?
I am definitely ready.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. Another great show. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you next time. Peace.